Welcome to this how-to video on administration of the revised LCQS. The revised LCQS is all contained in just one book. Every employee will have their own copy of all the training material, plus all of the proficiencies, plus all of the job hazard assessments. The Line Clearance Qualification Standard, or LCQS, serves as the company's methodology of training our line clearance tree trimming employees. Region managers are responsible for administering the LCQS training within their assigned regions. Forepersons are responsible for the training of all employees on their crew. It's understood that other qualified employees of the crew may instruct someone of a lesser qualification. General forepersons are responsible for distribution of the program in addition to monitoring progress and verifying each trainee has a thorough understanding of the lessons covered. All completed forms, hard copy or electronic, shall be retained in the employee's personnel file at the region office for at least 1 year following separation of the employee. Training shall begin immediately, starting with the NELO, or New Employee LCQS Orientation, and then shall continue in accordance with the lesson and endorsement requirements listed for each job classification. All new employees shall work under and be trained only by employees who have completed the proficiency skill levels required for the job classification being taught. The revised LCQS book contains 3 basic sections: the lessons, the proficiencies, and the JHAs, for job hazard assessments. The required list for each classification is now found in Appendix C1 at the back of the book. For every job classification, there are 2 levels of proficiencies and sign-offs: the OJT and the final proficiency. The trainer shall initial and date the OJT proficiency of each completed lesson as the employee demonstrates required proficiency. The management employee administering the final proficiency shall initial and date the employee's final proficiency's supervised tracking form. The proficiency sign-off sheets are now found in Appendix D at the back of the book. The final proficiencies for each classification are now found in Appendix E1 at the back of the book. The management employee administering the final proficiency shall personally review and confirm that the OJT proficiency activities have been completed, initialed, and dated for the lessons associated with their job classification. They'll check for knowledge of the OJT proficiencies required for the employee's class. In other words, ground person, ground trimmer, climber, bucket operator, specialized equipment operator, or foreperson. They'll also check for knowledge of the endorsement proficiencies for their job class. Finally, they will initial and date the employee's final proficiency supervised tracking form. The region is responsible for tracking progress and completion of the process. Final proficiencies do not need to be confirmed all at once in one visit or setting. Also, final proficiencies do not have to be done in any special order. All the endorsement forms are now found in Appendix C2 at the back of the book. Forepersons are required to obtain endorsements that authorize them to supervise a specific type of crew. Forepersons can get multiple endorsements so they can supervise different types of crews. For example, a fully qualified climbing crew foreperson may only supervise a bucket crew if they've completed the bucket operator LCQS final proficiencies and endorsements. This also applies to all specialized equipment. Working on or becoming qualified in more than one job classification is acceptable, provided all the work is performed under the direct supervision of a qualified foreperson. Note, the only exception is for the foreperson job classification. The 4-person lessons are worked only after the previous LCQS job classifications have been completed. For example, a climbing crew 4-person can only work on becoming qualified as a lift crew 4-person only after they've completed the LCQS lessons, proficiencies, and endorsements for ground person, ground trimmer, and bucket operator. The same progression applies on a climbing crew. A lift 4-person can only work on becoming qualified as a climbing crew 4-person after they've completed the LCQS lessons, proficiencies, and endorsements for ground person, ground trimmer, and climber. There are 2 methods of 4-person promotion. Method 1 is when prior to becoming a 4-person, the candidate has completed all of the prerequisites leading up to 4-person and completed the 4-person requirements. Method 2 is when the 4-person candidate has not completed the 4-person requirements. In this case, on the day before the candidate assumes the role of 4-person, the general 4-person or supervision reviews the following supervision lessons in Section 27 of the LCQS. Lesson 27.1, Leadership. 27.2, Training your employees. 27.3, the 4-step training method. 27.4, safety meetings and stand-downs. 27.5, supervising people, and 27.6, recognition and discipline. In this case, the new 4-person has 6 months to complete the rest of the required lessons for 4-person. Thanks for watching this how-to video on administration of the revised LCQS.